Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's day 6 out of 50 of the SAT Math Prep series as we're getting closer to the August SAT. And today we'll be doing once again advanced math problem types and looking at our first problem. We're going to do 4 of these today. 4a squared plus 20ab plus 25b squared. Which of the following is a factor of the polynomial above? Okay, so we have all answer choices as factored or factors of the polynomial. So factoring this, we have to use kind of an unconventional method. So remember that a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And we kind of have to reverse engineer this because this is in the same format as this. And we have to get back to this because this would be technically a factor, like one of these. So we're going to try and find what one of those would be in this scenario. So let's write out our problem again. If we want to get to this form, we kind of have to make our a and our b squared. So we have to put them, like I'll show you how this is. So 4, we could rewrite it like this because 2 to the 2 is 4 and a to the 2 is a squared. And then we're going to leave this b, and then we can do the same thing here with b squared. And this gives us the ability to put it back into this form because this can be looked at as one term, like 2a is one term. So think of it like here as a squared, because if we write 2a plus 5b and then square the whole thing, it's going to give us this, but in this. So we're going to have 2a plus 5b squared, and that's going to be equivalent to 2a plus 5b, 2a plus 5b. And these are factors of the given polynomial. So even though they're the same, we just need one of them as our answers, and that would be b. And if you have time on test day to like go back and check, definitely redistribute this and see if you get that. So we're going to do it right now. So remember that would be 4a squared plus 2 times ab. So what's ab? 10ab plus 25b squared. That would be 4a squared plus 20ab plus 25b squared. And this is the same as that. So our factor is correct. Looking at our next problem, looking at this straight away, based off the answer choices, I know we're going to have to use the quadratic formula. Whenever it has a square root and one of them is a plus, one of them is a minus, almost always you're going to have to use this formula. First, let's check if we can factor it without it. So x squared minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Here we can't because I factor like AC and then B. What's A times C? -1. What's B? -1. You just look at the coefficient. So here would be a 1. It's just not there. And you multiply them for AC and then you just look at the B. And then this isn't going to work because two numbers that multiply to -1 will never, when added, equal -1. That's my way of factoring. So ignore that because that's not going to work. We're going to use our quadratic formula. which is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So this is definitely something you want to memorize. It will probably show up at least once on the test, if you're lucky, because it's really a free question if you know the formula. So we're going to write out, we're going to take it super slow. So we know a is 1, b is equal to negative 1, and c is equal to negative 1. We're looking at the coefficients of each of these. So this is a, that's b, this is c. Because if we write out our equation, it's ax squared minus bx minus c. C is just a constant. So we have each of our values here, and we're going to plug it into this formula. So negative b, which is negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is negative 1 squared minus 4ac over 2 times a, which is 1. And then this is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 4 over 2, which is equal to 1 plus or minus square root of 5 over 2. Looking at our answer choices, it's not going to be 1 or 2, it's not going to be a half or a third. And looking at this, that matches up with ours, plus or minus, because this, remember, it splits up into 2. And it's 1 plus square root of 5 over 2, and it's 1 minus square root of 5 over 2. And then D wouldn't be correct. If it asks you to simplify further, which is probably like unusual, you could write it like this. But I haven't really seen them ask that. Okay, so that was a medium difficulty. Not too bad. Looking at our next question. Okay. This is kind of a riddle, so read very carefully. The product of two positive integers is 462. If the first integer is 5 greater than twice the second integer, what is the smaller of the two integers? So product of means we're multiplying two things, correct? And we know it's equal to 462. The first integer is 5 greater than twice the second integer. So when it says greater than, that's always like 5 plus whatever. And then twice the second integer. If it's twice, it's 2 times, so 2x. So this will be the larger integer, since the second integer will just be x. So we're going to put this in here because this is the product of the two. And we know that the product is equal to 462, as it says in the problem. The hardest part of this problem isn't the math, it's just comprehending what it's asking for and plugging in everything they need is the easy part. Okay, so we distribute this. This is just really basic math. And now is another kind of point where you might hit a dead end, but if you rearrange it, we can take the same approach we did in the last problem by moving that 462 to the other side and setting the whole equation equal to 0, because now that allows us to use what equation? The quadratic equation. So we know that, keep in mind, it's positive, so when we're doing this whole plus or minus thing, we want to keep that in mind. So we're going to have, so we have a is equal to 2, b is equal to 5, c is equal to negative 462. Always set up your equation. This is standard form in this, so increasing to decreasing exponential variables. So we have x squared, then x, and then nothing. It kind of organizes the problem a little easier and is easy to get these values very fast. So we have, I'm going to write the equation again. Negative v plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So plugging that in here, we have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4ac over 2 times 2. So this is going to be equal to, get a calculator out now, plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 8 times 462, 1,696, 4, and that's equal to -5 plus or minus the square root of, oh, this is going to be plus, sorry, because it's a negative minus a negative times a negative. 3721 over 4, and then we take the square root of all of that. Okay, we have -5 plus or minus the square root of, not the square root, we just took the square root, plus or minus 61 over 4. Okay, here is where we need to kind of read the problem back and understand that it's positive, correct? So if we're gonna write both of these out anyway, just because, so we can see how we may make a mistake. So looking at this, we're going to get one of our answers as -70 or -66 over 4. And then the other one of our answers as 61 minus 5 is 56 over 4, which is equal to 14. So we have, and we'll simplify this right now, -66 divided by 4, which is -16.5. So these are our two possible answers, but we have a dilemma since we can only pick one. So looking at the problem again, the product of two positive integers. If x is negative here, it's going to mess everything up. So we have to stick with the 14. Remember, this is the x. This is equal to x, not both integers. So we know that one integer, the first integer, is 5 plus 2x. The second integer is x. We know that this one's going to be smaller, and we know that x is equal to 14 itself, so that will be our answer. Thank you guys for working with me through these problems, and I'll see you guys on day 7.